In the heart of feudal Japan lived two friends, Riyoujin Shingitsu and Noboru. Riyoujin, with his sharp features and long black hair, was a swordsman of unmatched talent. He wasn't born into nobility, but his dedication to the blade was absolute. He trained relentlessly, driven by a pure obsession with the art. His childhood friend Noboru was his opposite in many ways. A broad-shouldered man with a calm, noble demeanor, Noboru had the privileges of birth. Despite their differences, they shared a single dream: to become samurai. Together, they joined the shogun's army. But even there, Ryujin's skill set him apart. He outshone everyone, his swordsmanship becoming a thing of legend among the ranks. This earned him admiration, but it also bred a quiet, simmering jealousy. The tension finally boiled over during a grand tournament. Riyoujin, as expected, fought his way to the top, even defeating the shogun's most celebrated champions. But this victory was not celebrated. The shogun, a hard-eyed ruler, saw it as an insult. How could a low-born upstart publicly shame his elite guard? The consequences were swift. Noboru, thanks to his noble blood, was promoted to the shogun's personal bodyguard. Riyoujin, however, received a very different assignment. He was dispatched to a remote village on the outskirts of the kingdom, tasked with containing a bizarre outbreak rumors spoke of the dead walking again. It was a trap. As Riyoujin and his squad worked to barricade the village, his own comrades betrayed him. They shoved him into a deep pit teeming with the undead. As he was swarmed and bitten, the samurai above laughed cruelly.
"Next time, don't insult the shogun," one of them yelled down. "And don't worry, we'll make sure your sisters become his concubines."
They sealed the pit, leaving him for dead. The dead did not stay contained. Days later, the makeshift barricades crumbled under the relentless pressure of the growing horde. The zombies poured out, and the samurai who betrayed Riyoujin found themselves in a desperate fight for their lives. They had the advantage of their blades, they thought. But as one of them tried to strike down a newly turned Riyoujin, something impossible happened. He moved with lightning speed, his blade a blur as it deflected the attack and cut down his former comrade. All his years of training, all that muscle memory, it was all still there, fused with this new, unholy existence. Panic set in. The remaining samurai broke ranks and fled, but it was too late. A new plague was sweeping the land. Hordes of zombies now roamed the countryside, and among them was a singular, terrifying figure. A zombie who wielded a katana with the skill of a master. In his lifeless eyes, a single purpose burned: revenge. He became known as the Oni Samurai, the demon swordsman. With every samurai he cut down, his legend and the zombie ranks grew. The tide of the undead was unstoppable. It washed over the land until it reached the very gates of the shogunate. The castle itself was under siege. Inside, the cruel shogun, who had once smiled at Ryujin's downfall, now trembled in his chambers. He peered from his window at the chaos in the courtyard below, his eyes locking on to a familiar figure, Riyoujin, effortlessly dispatching his elite guard. An arrow struck Riyoujin, but he didn't even flinch. "The demon swordsman," the shogun whispered, his face pale with fear. The doors to the chamber burst open. Riyoujin stood there, having carved a path of destruction all the way to the top. He raised his sword to deliver the final blow to the cowering shogun, but his strike was blocked. Standing between him and his revenge was Noboru, his oldest friend. For a long moment, they stared at each other. In Ryujin's undead eyes, Noboru saw not a monster, but the same friend he'd always known, and behind that, an ocean of pain and a clear, vengeful purpose. Slowly, Noboru sheathed his sword and stepped aside. Riyoujin moved past him, and with a final swift motion, ended the shogun's reign of terror. His vengeance complete, the demon swordsman sheathed his katana. He looked at his friend one last time, a flicker of understanding passing between them, and then he knelt. Noboru knew what had to be done. He raised his blade, ready to grant his friend the peace he had been so brutally denied. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this tale, please like the video and subscribe for more stories.